Alrighty, welcome everybody. Welcome to our 28th episode of Brownsville Tech Live. And tonight we've got Doug back. We've got an exciting show for everybody. One of the two things, actually a double hitter tonight. We're going to be looking at 5G wireless options. Doug has done some research on 5G. He's actually jumped and moved over to 5G and replaced his home internet. And then he's also going to give us a preview of the 24-inch iMac. So Doug, welcome to the show once again.
Glad to be here, Danny.
You're becoming a staple on the show now.
I'm happy to be here.
All righty, Doug. Well, I know that you and I had been talking for a few months. I know that you've been pretty, you were having problems with your home internet, your cable-based internet, and over where you live at. And you were looking at options, to get alternative internet service. So what did you discover?
Well, a little background. I've got Spectrum. I've had Spectrum for several years because that's the only provider we can get down here in the valley. And
you there? Uh-oh. Think we lost you. Log back in. You there, Doug? Uh-oh. Well. He'll be back on here in a few minutes. So anyway, Doug was having some issues with regards to his home internet service. He was using a local ISP, cable-based, and it had been going down for a couple of weeks. And so,
okay.
Doug, I'll go ahead and let you take over. I was trying to explain to everybody the issue you were having.
Well, it looked like you're having the same issue because I just checked the speeds on mine. I'm okay.
Well, maybe.
It
could be.
Yeah. Like I said, I've had Spectrum for like everybody else in the valley. I've had it for several years, and I pay $95 a month, and I had the Supreme speed, okay? And I never had any problems with the speed with Spectrum. It's just the connectivity. I'd be watching a good example. I'd be watching a Cardinal baseball game and be at the bottom of the ninth with the bases loaded with two outs, and batter would be up, and all of a sudden the internet would go down for like, I don't know, a couple minutes, and hey, who won the game, you know, stuff like that. And I'd have to find out later, or either that, I'd be we would be on a important phone call or just a phone call at all, and we'd lose connection.
Yeah.
Okay, because everything was on the Wi-Fi. So I've been exploring other things, and I got excited about 6 months ago in the Super Bowl when I saw Verizon. Um, it looks like an Apple trash can.
Okay.
Okay, that's probably it's a little bit smaller than an Apple trash can. So they
Uh-huh.
were pushing it on the Super Bowl on that, and then I did a little bit more research and did the YouTube deal, and I found out that the Verizon trash can isn't so great.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and so, but the T-Mobile is okay. So I went to the T-Mobile Internet Gateway website and looked at it and found out that it was available in my area because there's a cell tower right outside the gate out here at Rancho
Wow.
Viejo. Okay, so I have it. So I contacted them, and about 2 days I got um, a T-Mobile trash can. Okay,
Yeah.
a little bit smaller than a trash can, and it was this cylinder, and uh, $50 a month. If you pay auto pay, paperless billing, you save $5. So $50. Me being retired, if I can save $45 a month, that would be great.
Yeah.
And they promised me that the internet would be up all the time. So I've had it for about 3 weeks now, and I still have Spectrum because I'm waiting for the months to run out on Spectrum.
Yeah.
Okay, and you know how it is trying to cancel a contract or a deal with any phone carrier or anybody. Okay, and um, so I basically was running both side by side. I have
Uh-huh.
still a couple devices, and I've slowly migrated all the other stuff over to T-Mobile. Okay, and it's working pretty good.
Oh,
I'm Did somebody
I've
join
got
us?
Steve. Yeah, I've got Steve coming on.
Okay,
Let's see if I can.
there's
Oh, there he
Steve.
is.
What's up, people? Can you see me?
Yep, we
Yeah, I
can
can see you
see you.
fine.
Let me flip to our regular screen. Hold on 1 second.
Sorry I'm late.
That's all right.
It's okay.
It's a last minute Chick-fil-A run.
You're forgiven.
All right, cool.
Give me a second here.
Hey, are we live?
We're live.
Hello, everybody.
Well, I thought we were live. Give me a second. Hold on. The heck? There we go. All right, give me 1 second. How do I set this up? Oh, it would make sense, wouldn't it? Hold on. What is wrong with me? Come on. There it is. I can see it. That's weird. Okay. Let me remove it. Let me duplicate it. Copy. Uh,
you keep in.
Tell you what, let's do this. Oh, I don't know. Not sure how this works. Display. Hold on. Window capture 3. There we go. Give me a second. Perfect. Okay. All right, now we got Doug. Gotta fix Doug.
What's wrong with Doug?
No, it's just remember we've been I've been messing around with stuff. I'm actually on a new camera tonight, so
You have all that money, that's why.
no, I wish I did.
Mm.
All right, here we go. There we go.
Okay, there you go.
All right, Doug.
Okay, so um, I've had it for about 3 weeks now, and so far it's working pretty good. I'm going to cancel the Spectrum account. Matter of fact, I called him the other day and I said, hey, when can I get out of this? And it took me like a half hour to get off, but they gave me all the kinds of reasons. So I'm going to go with T-Mobile. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy with it so far. And I've had a little problem with the TV in the living room today. That's the first time it's actually stuttered at all. And and I will say, T-Mobile, they called me. I didn't call them. They called me and they said they were working. They're doing some maintenance out here on the cell tower. So
Yeah.
you know, so that's to be expected. But here in my office, it's working fantastic in the rest of the house.
So right now, how many devices do you have attached to it?
Oh God, I got my all the phones in the house, um, two TVs, an Ecobee thermostat, the Ring cameras. And about four home pods and a Yale door lock.
Wow.
Okay, so it's just about everything in the house. Well, now everything in the house.
And
Wow.
when you run a speed test, what's the speed on it?
Well, the speeds are a little lower than Spectrum. Okay, uh, I always say that Spectrum is like a garden hose. When you turn it on, they give you a, you turn your garden hose out, a whole lot of water comes out, but then
Mm-hmm.
when it goes through the holes, they scale it back. So Spectrum's well known for giving boost. I mean, giving when they when you hit a website or something on TV or something, and then they'll give you a big boost, and then they'll scale it back. Okay, well, as they say, throttle it back.
Yeah,
So
throttle,
this has
yes.
been, yeah. So this has been pretty consistent. I mean, Spectrum maybe 200, 300 megabytes per second. T-Mobile's maybe the most I think I've ever had was 200.
All right.
I mean, but it runs pretty good at 100 consistently. And I'm okay with that as long as it stays up. Okay, as long as it
Nice.
when I'm watching a TV show or a video chat,
It's not buffering.
it's not buffering. And I've had Spectrum out to my house, I don't know how many times to fix it, and they come out they come out pretty quick. I'll give them that. And then they'll send a guy, and he'll be out here for an hour or so, and He'll say, "Well, I can't see anything wrong with it. It must be the box that goes into." So then they have to make another appointment, and that guy comes out, and "Oh, I don't know what I'm supposed to be out here for, but I think you got internet problems." Then that guy says, "Oh, everything's fine. It must be the coax coming from the box, from the transfer point into the house."
Right.
That guy comes out, everything's fine. Okay.
Well,
So,
yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I don't think Spectrum's ever going to fix the problem until they start putting fiber in homes.
Yeah.
And they probably never will in the valley.
Well, one of the things, prior to me working at that place that you and I worked at, I came from the cable industry. And I've
Yeah.
kind of kept pretty much in touch with that industry, for even since then. And that's one of the things that people don't understand is that, when you've got cable service, you've got typically a green box somewhere that services
Hmm.
X amount of houses. So if the bandwidth that's coming in or going out, let's just say, is 500 megabytes or whatever, right? Every house gets a portion of that. So there are times that you're going to experience, latency even on a cable connection, because you're sharing that, with three or four houses. I have a green box here in my backyard, and it services about three or four, uh, you know, houses. And of course, if there's a kid next door, doing gaming or something, and I'm trying to do streaming like we're doing here, I mean, I may run into a problem. So, there
I
is
live,
a lot of
you know,
issues. Go ahead.
where I live, here I call it the projects, but it's a
Oh, come on.
homeowners association condos, okay? And I mean, we're all ground level. We're all ground level, but there's a big green box out there, and I've had trouble. Is that there's a couple of rental units right next door to me,
Yeah.
and they'll come out, and when those people move out, they'll come out and disconnect the cable, and they disconnect me instead, and then
Mm.
I have to turn around and call them. Matter of fact, it got so bad here about a few years ago that I had to stand out there and watch them label the cables. So,
Right.
say, hey, when you see number 9, that's me. Don't disconnect that one.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
And,
getting back to this T-Mobile deal, though, the setup on it, I got it in the mail. They sent it next day. They said I'd get it on Monday. I got it on a Friday.
yeah.
Okay. Setup was fairly easy. You basically plug it. You download the app from T-Mobile, okay, on your phone, and
Okay.
then you just plug it in. You just plug it in, okay, and it's got ports in for Ethernet or you can hook up a mesh network. I haven't hooked my mesh network up to it yet,
Yeah.
okay, but but I will. But anyway, you have to set it up, and then you go through all the password deal, okay, on each device. Um, the only trouble I had on the setup was that I had some devices that wouldn't recognize the network. It would go
Huh.
on there, but I put the password in, and it wouldn't recognize the password. Well, I called technical support, and they just said, just make another network. So on the app, you can just make another network, okay, and that did the trick.
Wow.
So basically, I've got two T-Mobile networks running, but it's on the same app. The app, I like the app. It tells you your signal strength on the app, okay, which is kind of cool. And also too, like today, I woke up this morning and for some unknown reason I didn't have any internet. I don't know if the power went off or I don't know what happened, but anyway, I looked at it and I just rebooted, and there's a part in the app that you can reboot it
Yeah.
because it was Spectrum. I mean, you call Spectrum, they always say Oh, no, some of your problems can be solved by rebooting your router. You heard that thing, right?
Right.
Okay. Most of us we have to do yoga in order to get to the yoga or acrobatics to get to the routers or to the cable modem, right? To
Yes.
disconnect it, right? Because we got it stashed behind a computer desk or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, with the T-Mobile deal, you don't. Uh, the only thing I can see that you, you have to. They recommend that you have it near a window,
Yeah.
okay, and they kind of recommend it have 6 feet high. Here, my condo doesn't have a whole lot of windows. Okay, and so maybe in a more conventional home that's got the big windows, it might be better. But
Yeah.
I've got it sitting on my, I got it 6 foot high in my office right now, and
Is it a
been
2 year
working pretty good.
subscription?
What's that?
Is it a 2 year subscription, or you know, is there a time frame that you have to have it?
Time frame
Like
I had to have it.
like a
Yes.
contract.
Oh no, you can cancel anytime you want to. If you don't like it, you just send it back.
So it's not
Okay.
like an additional line. Are you a T-Mobile subscriber or?
No, it just it's you got your there's no contract involved, and if you don't like it, you can just send it back. And I've kept
No.
the boxes here in case I don't like.
There he goes.
That was my daughter. Okay, and so sorry about that, guys.
That's all right.
All right.
And so but you can keep it as long as you want, basically.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know.
definitely, they've been talking for a couple of years now about 5G. And, I mean, I know here in the Valley, we're always last to get anything that's, up and coming, right? So, but the stories that I've heard is that once 5G really comes in full force, we will get cable like speeds coming off of 5G. So there's this talk that, you know, cable may have a run for its money once 5G gets fully implemented, you know? So,
Yeah, like the T-Mobile guy. I mean, I was watching the news today, and all of a sudden I got a phone call, and I thought it might have been usually Jason, trying to sell me solar collectors. Okay, okay. Jason called me about. He usually calls me about this time, and it was actually, in fact, it was T-Mobile. Okay, and they was just asking me how the service was and all that kind of stuff. And I
wow.
told him what we've been talking about,
Customer
and
service? That's unheard of.
customer, yeah, they called me on their own.
That's
Okay,
unheard of.
yeah, they actually reached out and touched someone. Okay, and
Oh, that used to
they
be an
told
old
me that
slogan.
for MCI, yeah, yeah, yeah. I tell you, at our old job, he used to say that. The guy in charge used to say that all the time.
Yeah,
Remember, nothing gets done unless you reach out and touch someone.
exactly.
Yeah,
Well,
and he was right too.
one of the things that I've always wondered is, how long will it be? I don't know if you guys saw my post about was it yesterday or the day before yesterday?
No.
Governor
About Governor
Abbott.
Abbott?
Yeah,
Yes.
Governor Abbott was in town, or he was in McAllen somewhere. I don't know where. But the vice president of Charter Communications, also known as Spectrum, was
Exactly.
also in the same event. And he tried to rope Abbott into agreeing with him that Brownsville's fiber initiative was a bad thing. They didn't like it. And as you know, that fiber initiative by the city is to basically provide fiber across the entire city through the American Rescue Plan. But Spectrum is not very happy about that initiative because obviously that could cut into their market.
Right.
And I was very surprised that Abbott actually stood up for the city and basically said that there was nothing wrong with Brownsville pursuing their own internet connectivity. That in fact it's probably a good idea that other cities do the same. So.
Yep.
I tell you the truth, though, I don't have much confidence in the city of Brownsville doing anything.
Oh,
Well,
Doug.
that's another subject.
That's on another show
Without
with another
okay,
podcaster.
without without costing the taxpayer costing the taxpayer a great deal of money.
Well,
And I think we all know what we're talking about.
well, we had two commissioners, on the show, and one of the commissioners is heavily involved in this project. And he mentioned at the time that it would be cheaper than anything of the offerings from Spectrum or AT&T. So I don't know. I mean, it'll be interesting to see, but obviously there's a big problem with internet in the rural areas of Texas. I mean, beyond the large
Well,
cities.
not just the rural areas, Dan. You go to Olivetta Park and you try and get Wi-Fi there, and hey, it's slower than dial-up.
Hey, if you go over on Morrison Street, over by Target,
Yeah.
okay, where Target's at, you can barely get cell coverage over there.
Well, I live
Yeah.
over here in this area. All right, I live on the opposite side, but yeah, you're right. When I am at Target, there's no way I can get signal, and I have AT&T. So,
So
Well,
I mean,
I mean, the thing is
but
that, Spectrum did take over for the majority of the internet service. For whatever reason, AT&T couldn't push DSL faster and further.
the good thing about this T-Mobile deal is the portability too. So let's say, for example, if I go somewhere on a trip, like camping or something, and there's a cell tower, I don't know what the distance is on the cell towers, okay? But let's say they do have T-Mobile's got a pretty big network because they
Oh, look
merged
at
with
Jack
Sprint,
Yang.
right?
right.
He's saying Starlink.
Yeah. So
Hi.
I mean, you just unplug it, you just unplug it and plug it in where you're going to go,
Yeah.
okay? And so that's one of the good things about it. And any way I can stick it to Spectrum, I'm more than happy to it because I do not like the way Spectrum handles their customer service, and they all their customer service people that come out to your house are all contractors. There's
Right.
no accountability.
Right.
Yeah, but so far so good. I'm knock on wood, and ask me in
Well,
6 months or
well, Jack
you
says
know.
that Starlink supports up to 100 users all at once.
Okay, how's the downlink though? I mean, I'm sorry. How's the upload?
That I don't know. We'll have to see
And
if
then
he
not only
replies
that,
back.
and the only thing is about Starlink is that you got to have a. What I've seen on YouTube, you have to mount a freaking satellite dish on top of your roof of your house, right?
He says fast.
Fast, okay. Well, in my at my place, okay, and God bless our homeowners association, they passed a rule that we can't have any satellite dishes now
Well, so
because
is
when they
ours. I mean, I
so
have the
because
same problem.
yeah, so the
Yeah.
satellite dish, okay, they found out when they put satellite dishes on the homes, okay, the plywood on the roof would rot through, and so it was as years go by, water gets in there and rots the plywood
Well,
underneath the
actually, it
bolt in
did.
there.
And on my house, I
Yeah.
had my roof replaced, and they had to replace the plywood where I had my two satellite dishes.
Same here.
So
Same here.
so that's what they've done here on the projects on the homeowner association.
Projects.
Yeah, in Rancho Viejo. Okay, right.
Oh, that all right. Hey, so I
Yeah, he lives
apologize.
in the poor side of Rancho Viejo.
Alrighty now.
He's kind of in
Yeah,
the
yeah. I
same
work
boat
on the
I am. I'm in the
yeah,
poor
yeah,
section of the
and
three neighborhoods.
yeah, and so I don't. Yeah, but I've got the green monster. You've got the nice pool though.
Jack says that the dish for Starlink is tiny. And
Okay.
in fairness to Jack, he's out there between the airport and Starbase, so he doesn't
Well,
have
that would be
the services
yeah,
available. Yeah,
that would be good for him. That would be good.
yeah,
That's good for Jack. You know.
you know,
I mean, Spectrum gave me all kinds of stories. With the thunderclouds. If it's lightning, you're going to have trouble with T-Mobile, and it rains or whatever. For one thing, we really don't get that much rain down here.
yeah.
Okay, and
Oh, he
and
says that
not a whole.
upload is 23 megabytes up.
That's still not so great.
Yeah.
23 is not that great.
Hey
Yeah.
Dan, do me
I
a
mean,
favor. Ask him or hey Jack, what is the price on that? On the satellite, is there a cost, a contract?
We'll
a
let
couple
him
hundred
let him
bucks just to get
reply.
into it.
Well, right
Yeah,
now
cause
I'm paying like $70 a month for cable,
same
and
here.
the
And
only thing that I'm
mine's a
leasing.
hundred. What's your
Go
speed,
ahead.
Dan?
Oh hell, I don't know.
My speed the last time was 455. All right, and I ran it this morning, and I'm paying 110. They
Yeah,
gave me a special ride. All right,
yeah.
Does it stay up
so
though? Does it come and go?
yes, it does. It goes from 455, then it goes down to 100, then 300. So, and I still have buffering.
Yeah.
Still have buffering. Okay, I
Yeah.
just ran a speed test on my TV next to me over here, and right now I'm running about 75 megabytes. So
All
it's
right,
it's slower than Spectrum, but it's consistent.
yeah, and if
Stays
it
up.
runs all your devices, then you're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jack says that it's 500
Now
bucks
I'm
initially.
Woo!
yeah. See, $500. See, that's a chunk of change for most people.
That's for you rich people. Sorry.
Yeah. That's a pretty $500 investment. You know,
All
if you
right.
don't know it's going to work. If you
Well, it works for the Ukraine. Doug, you there? Uh-oh.
We lost them or what?
I think we lost him.
Hey,
It happened to him earlier. He's going to say
yeah. Hey,
it's
Dan.
me.
I see half a screen. Why?
Where, for Doug?
No, for you, all of us.
Half a screen.
Yeah, I don't see the full screen I did before. I see Doug on a half a screen. There you are.
What happened? Where'd Doug go? He get disconnected again. I think what
Fiber.
happens. I think what happens is when he drops off the Google Meets, your screen expands. I think. There he goes.
okay, I'm
Yeah.
back. I
What happened?
I'm still up. I mean, somebody must have went down.
Well, oh, it says how much to run fiber cable 400 feet to my house. I have no idea.
More than $500, I would imagine. But you wouldn't have to pay that though.
Well,
The utility
for,
would. Yeah.
I will say that when I
All depending where he lives.
well, the thing is, I can tell you when I had that tax business a few years ago and moved into that new place. Apparently, we couldn't get internet into the whole complex because the connection box for Spectrum and AT&T was like a block away. In order for them to run that cable, they meaning Spectrum, they wanted me to pay $7,000. And I said,
$7,000.
yeah, I said, absolutely no way. I said, I can't afford $7,000 as a startup business. They said, well, why don't you get together with the rest of the tenants and see if y'all can split it? Well, I left, and the rest of the tenants did exactly that. They went out, gathered their monies together, and paid Spectrum to run that line. It was ridiculous. And it wasn't like it was out in the boonies. It was right in the middle of town.
Yeah.
You know. But I blame the landlord for not checking all that stuff out before they opened the doors on that building. In my opinion, it was their responsibility to ensure that
Yeah.
the service was there, just like water and electricity. You know.
They don't think about that. They don't think they probably thought about water and electricity, but they didn't think about internet. But then how do you run your cash registers and everything else? Or
well, one of the
everything's
things,
point of sale now, right?
yeah. Well, one of the things I wanted to mention also, you mentioned about the projects, but one of the other factors that factors into your latency with cable is that the number of splits that you have going to your various rooms in your house affect the cable service, including the internet service. So if you have 3, 4 TVs in the house, you're basically splitting that signal 4 times. And every single time you cut the cable, you cut the dB level. The other thing is that a lot of older houses and a lot of older complexes still have the old RG59 cable from the 70s. They're not using the RG6U, which is a thicker cable. And Steve knows about that because he fell through my mother's ceiling installing RG6 cable for me.
I was the guinea pig, Judge. I was the guinea pig. He stuck me in the attic and he said, run this wire. I'm like, sure, why not? It's a step and woohoo! The rest is history.
So,
But anyway,
So-
I like it so far, and I'm sticking with it. So
yeah. Well, I'm glad. I'm glad that you're
Yeah,
having
they're
better
good.
service. And for those Spectrum lovers out there, this is not a knock Spectrum show, but, we're looking at alternatives. Obviously.
I think cable TV, Spectrum, and companies like Spectrum are in big trouble because cable TV is just about dead because everybody's streaming.
Yeah.
I mean, just look at your TV shows. Um, back in the day with Johnny Carson, I think he got like I don't know, 40 million people on his last night. Well, you're lucky to get 2 million, 3 million people on a prime time TV show now.
Right.
Okay, that's considered good. And like
Yeah.
CNN, they're barely drawing 100,000 people a night on prime time.
Yeah.
Okay, and so that's how the cable companies make their money. But you know, streaming is definitely in. The only trouble is it does it can Spectrum put fiber in the valley with the people we have down here. A lot of people don't want to spend that extra amount of money for fiber.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but
Fiber is very delicate to install. I mean, you just can't get anybody, any Yahoo, to just go and install it. It takes special equipment. It takes a special little trailer for splicing. I mean, I used to deal with, fiber optic network cables at a previous place that I worked at. And I kid you not, we had one time the the maintenance people who were cutting the yard, they cut through my fiber cable. Thousands of dollars later, that I had to hire somebody to reconnect um, fiber back. But it's expensive, and it's something that would have to be done as a phased-in process. I would suspect that the
Yeah.
richer neighborhoods would get it first. So chances are, at Rancho, you may get it before any of us.
I don't know. We got some pretty tight. Some of the people out here are so tight with their money they squeak. And I think we all know who we're talking about. A farmer superior of mine at the last job I worked at.
Well, one of the other people that we worked with used to be the fire chief down there at Rancho.
Yeah, he
You know,
got smart and moved away.
I know, but he also got pissed off at Rancho because they didn't get him his Ford Raptor. He wanted a Ford Raptor uh, vehicle with the fire uh, City of Rancho Viejo fire thing on his side. Anyway, it's another story.
That's another story. I remember that
Anyway,
guy. He moved
so
to Austin.
I know, right? Um, so let's talk about another area you've
Yeah,
been looking at.
just to look at just one more thing. Look at it,
Uh huh.
Jack's. I had fiber in Saudi Arabia. I go back to the. Everybody's heard of the B-2 stealth bomber, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay, okay. We had fiber back in the early '90s, believe it or not, on the super secret stealth bomber in the factory.
Yeah.
Okay, and well, it was always we were always tearing it up. But they had like a whole crew, and we had unlimited money. They
Yeah.
gave us $44.5 billion and we spent it.
Yeah.
Okay, and so we had fiber way back then.
So
You know,
you had a
and,
fiber optic network back
yeah,
then. Wow.
yeah, we had a factory of the future. They called it. Everything was online. Prints and all that kind of stuff was online back in the early '90s, and all the transactions, all the inventory stuff, and everything was online. They used fiber optics, and every
Wow.
time the airplane moved, they had to move all that stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Wow.
you know,
Well, one of the things about
we're
fiber, a lot of times, it's installed cheaply, but it's typically a fiber ring that then gets converted over from fiber back into copper into coax. And that's what we did at that contractor that I worked at. We actually had fiber as a ring, and then to each location, then we split over to coax, not coax,
yeah,
Ethernet, excuse me. So
internet.
it just depends. But my idea of fiber is point to point, from junction box to the house.
You
It
know,
shouldn't be it shouldn't be a conversion, where you end up going to copper again.
yeah. Um, my opinion is I think Starlink companies like Starlink and T-Mobile are the future. I don't think it just costs the United States billions of dollars to rewire the whole country in fiber.
Yeah.
Google tried it in some select cities by having a huge mesh network. So I guess basically T-Mobile would be a mesh network,
Hmm.
humongous mesh network, I
Yeah.
would think. And then Starlink is but satellite internet has come and gone. We had DirecTV, we've had some other ones.
Right.
Okay, Starlink's has probably got the best idea.
Right. As long as the
Yeah,
Russians
and
don't shoot the satellites down, we'll be okay.
yeah, but he hasn't so far. Gave him the Ukraine. If anybody can do it, that guy can do it.
Of course.
I have I have full confidence in Mr. Musk.
Yeah.
If anybody can do it, he can do it.
Yeah.
And so
So let's
American
talk.
capitalism at its best.
Yeah. So let's talk about your other. You've been playing with some other toys. I believe that you've
Yeah,
purchased a new 24-inch iMac. So talk to us a little bit. Well, first of all, tell us what happened that you had to buy one,
okay.
and then tell us a little bit about that machine.
Yeah, back in 2017, I went through the Apple stuff. I started out with I got tired of Windows and I went to a Mac Mini, and then I got tired of a whole bunch of cables all over the place. So I scaled, so I bought a 27-inch iMac back in 2017. Okay, and it was my pride and joy. I loved that thing. I took really good care of it. I kept all the software up to date, checked it a couple of times a week for anything that might be wrong with it or anything. But here, the last week in June, when I was recovering from my hip surgery, is that what happened was that I just leave it up all the time.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I'd come in my office, and I noticed one day it was shut down. I go, what the heck happened? Okay, and then it got more and more difficult. I had to reboot. Okay, and then it just kept on, and then it kept on doing that. It just kept on shutting down after. And when I had it up and running, it ran fine, no problem at all. But if I left it alone for an hour or so, it would shut down, and then it just got worse and worse and worse. So I
Maybe
called
it was
Apple.
trying to trans into a Windows machine.
Windows machine would have stopped a long time ago. But so I called Apple, and I spent one Friday night on the phone with an Apple person, and we thought maybe we might have fixed it, and then that didn't do it the next day. So then I finally got disgusted, and I looked around. There's nobody in the valley that works on iMacs,
Yeah.
okay, that I know of, okay, and so I went up to the mall, and they've got a Mac. They say they work on Macs, but it's only an iPhone place. I kind of call them the Three Stooges. They had it for a week, and they couldn't find anything wrong with it. And then finally, in disgust, I took it over to the Geek Squad over at Best Buy, and got a hold of a guy, and he spent about an hour with me diagnosing the problems. He hooked some stuff, some monitors up to it and everything. And we thought it was just the RAM was originally. And I said, well, okay, RAM's not a big deal. It's maybe a couple $100 at the most, replacing all the RAM. Okay. And then, but he said, it looks like you got more problems than that. Maybe a CPU or something like that. And I said, okay, that was on 4th of July. So then I came home, didn't want to do it, and I resisted. And I thought, well, what do I buy? Mac Air? Those aren't out till they just came out today, available to buy with the M2 chip. Okay. And I go, well, I'm getting kind of old. My eyesight's not as good as it once was, and so I need that. I need a screen, a sharp
Yeah.
screen. So I decided to get a 24-inch iMac. Okay. So there's two base models. There's two models. One is a cheaper version. It's $12.99. It's pretty minimum. Is when I got one fan in it. Okay, and it's only got like a 256 gigabyte hard drive. Okay, and that sells for $12.99. And then there's a upper version, upper scale for about $200 $300 more. Okay, and it has two fans. And after doing some research, I found out that the extra fan is in. That's where your heat sink is at. So
Okay.
anybody know about computers? Heat sinks are pretty important, right?
Right.
And then also too, it had some other features. It has a keyboard that has, you can use your finger, Touch ID, and some other bells and whistles on it. And
Yeah.
okay, so for a couple $100 more. So I'm gonna go look at price of refurbishment. So I went to the Apple refurbishment website. Okay, and they for I saved $200 for the upper version. Plus, I got twice the size hard drive. Okay, and then the cheaper model, and then also too, I got all the other stuff that goes along with it, the extra heat,
Now,
the extra fan and stuff.
Now,
So
how many
altogether, it
ports
cost me
does it
about
come with? How many
how
ports
many
does
what
it come with, and what type of ports?
ports? Okay, the lower price one only comes with 2 ports, USB-Cs. Okay,
Okay.
now the upper version, which I have, it comes up with two USB-Cs and two USB-Cs and then 2 other ports. Okay,
Okay.
for your phone and stuff.
Okay.
Okay, so
Is that
so I just
Thunderbolt or what?
yeah, they're Thunderbolts. Yeah, they're Thunderbolts.
Okay.
Okay, or as I call it, Thunder Chicken. Okay,
No
and
USB A's. No USB
no
A's.
USB-A's. No, that
Yeah.
and that's another thing I want to talk about because when I first got it, I was kind of in a panic mode because my Heil microphone right here
Yeah.
and my external hard drive is still USB-A.
Right.
But somewhere along the line, I bought a hub that has a USB-C that plugs in your back end for USB deal. So I just
Right.
basically dug it out of my toolbox and hooked the hub up to my computer and hooked the microphone and stuff onto that, and everything. I'm in business.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Well, it's
that was a shocker, but I think I got the whole thing for 1,500, and I paid with Apple Pay since I'm a loyal Apple customer. Okay, and that's they get 3% cash, so that was I saved. Okay, they gave me $55 on that. Okay, plus I saved 200, so altogether I probably saved you know 250, $275 by going this route.
now. I'm surprised Steve hasn't asked a question about refurbished products yet.
I was
Well,
thinking about it, but hey, you know,
So
Apple, they
he's
have the
got
same
concerns about
warranty.
refurbished products.
Oh, he doesn't like them, huh?
no.
Anyway,
Well, talk to us,
Apple
Doug, about
has the same.
refurbished products from Apple.
Yes,
What happened to
please.
refurbished, Steve?
Hey, I've had the issue of every time I buy something that's used, all right, it breaks down. And every time I
What
buy
products
something
you
that's
buy?
new, huh?
What products did you buy? Not Apple stuff, did you? Apple?
Yes. All right.
iPhones
Every
or
time I bought,
iPad?
it was an iPhone and an iPad on the refurbished side. All right. And I'm like, no, never again. Every
So,
time I
They
buy
backed it
something
up though,
new,
didn't they?
yes. All right. But every time I buy something new, I've never had an issue.
yeah.
All right. So for
Yeah.
whatever reason, it might have been a bug, it might have slipped through the process. All right. But that refurbished products that I bought, and it's been more than once. Right? And that's why my personal
So,
thing is
so Doug,
if
what
I ain't buying
is
it new, I'm not buying it.
so Doug? What is the when you buy a refurbished product from Apple? What do you
Yeah.
get as far as warranty, and can you
So,
buy Apple Care?
yeah. Same warranty as a brand new one.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you can buy Apple Care.
Okay.
Okay, you can buy it per year or you can buy it for 3 years, which is $169.
Okay.
I haven't bought Apple Care Plus yet because you still got like 30 days to buy it, right?
Yeah. Well, keep
Yeah,
in
so
mind. Yeah, keep in mind that regardless of phone, when it comes to phones, you go by those extended warranty plans, and when your phone breaks down, regardless of model and manufacturer, you send that off. What you're going to get is a refurbished phone. It's the
Yeah.
thing about
you are definitely going to
refurbished.
get a reverse one.
The thing about the refurbished phones coming from those manufacturers is that they have to be just as good as the new product, down to the cosmetics, meaning no
So
scratches. You know.
something else I didn't tell you is that they'll take my iMac in for a trade-in, okay, and they gave me $221 for that,
Oh, wow.
Wow.
okay. So, so I'm okay with that because we all got too many computer stuff out in the garage. Okay,
Yeah.
monitors and you know computers that we'll never use, but we don't want to throw them away. Stuff like that. Okay, I'm getting to the point anymore. Is it? I'll just go ahead and get it recycled or something.
Now, I didn't
Just
ask you the other day, what did you do with regards to printing? Do you have a wireless printer?
yeah, she's got one for her business in her office, and I
Uh
get
huh.
whenever I print, I just print off of it.
Ah, okay. Yeah. Yeah, because
Yeah.
I've got like five printers here. They all serve a specific function, but once I get a new device, I've got to load all that stuff up on each one. So
Right.
yeah.
Right. But
So what
I'm pretty
operating
happy.
system
I'm
version did it come with?
Well, it came with I when I first got it and booted it up, it came up with it had Big Sur in it, which is software is the operating system before Monterey. So I had to download Monterey, the latest one,
Yeah.
which I did. Okay, and it took you an hour, 2 hours to do it. Whenever you get a new computer, you always got to want it the way you want it. And so I'm on Monterey now, and come November when they come out with Ventura, I'll update to Ventura.
Yeah.
But believe it or
So
not, my
go ahead.
my 27-inch iMac was getting to the end of life on service because Apple came out with this M1 chip. This 24-inch has the M1 chip in it.
Yeah.
Okay, and the same apps you can use on your phone will work on this iMac.
So let's
Okay,
talk a little bit about the conversion to M1. The Mac you had was an Intel based Mac, right?
right,
And then you got one based on the M1. Has there
right.
been any software that you previously used on the Intel platform that you have not been able to port over to the M1 based Mac? Because that's always been a
No,
concern for me.
no, none at all.
Okay.
Okay, okay. For one thing, they Apple's got a what the hell they call it? There's a word they use it. They used it way back when they converted over from
Parallels?
Power Mac
No,
to
it's
Intel chips. What's it
Rosetta.
called? Rosetta. Rosetta
Yeah.
Stone
No, not
2,
Rosetta
I think.
Stone.
Oh,
Isn't that
Rosetta.
the language?
Okay. Yeah,
But it's
Rosetta.
Rosetta.
No,
It's
yeah.
it's
So
Rosetta.
Apple has been able to convert all that stuff over now. Now, when the new operating systems come out, like Ventura, now there will be some stuff that you can only do on the M1 chips, M1 and M2 chips. Okay, and then as the years go on, eventually the Intel chip they won't support the Intel chip stuff
Yeah.
anymore as the years go on. But
Yeah.
but you know I'm happy with it so far. The video quality on FaceTime and stuff is much more. It's got T80 camera. Apple's always had crappy cameras. Okay, even on their laptops.
Yeah.
Because they're so thin. That bezel's so thin that you really can't put a really good camera on it.
Yeah.
And and the pandemic proved that Apple had crap for cameras. So Apple's been updating their camera line on the MacBook and the Mac Air and stuff. So
Speaking of
and then the high price
cameras,
one, yeah.
I told you that I switched to a new camera here. Not a new one, but one I had. Do I look a little too red on the screen?
A hair bit you must be hot.
Again, did you
No.
get that message? Your call ends in 10 minutes.
Yeah, I saw that. How dare they?
So what are you using?
Google Meets.
Oh,
Yeah, but they don't cut me out like Zoom used to do. So, but yeah,
Just
I kind of look
just
red,
pay the
kind of
hundred
like a
bucks.
redskin. What's going on here?
Yeah.
Too bad.
But
I wonder
I
my
mean,
tan lines look
I'm
that
happy
way.
for it. You know, the 24 inch takes up less room on my desk, which is kind
Yeah.
of nice. And and it's a lot lighter.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think
Now is
at
that
this point
a
in my
4K
life,
monitor? 4K
a
monitor
what?
display? Is that a 4K monitor display or
Uh,
bright retina or
they call
whatever
it
it's
like,
called?
yeah, it's not 5K, it's 8K or tone,
Oh,
whatever. Yeah,
wow.
not quite as good as an iPad Pro, but
Okay.
pretty good. Yeah,
Right.
the new
Well,
iPad
that's
Pro is called True Tone,
yeah.
something like that.
Wow.
No, it's the
Well,
screen is fine.
well, one thing's for sure. I'd be curious to see how it does with some of the Adobe products, but I guess we would have to wait until Evelyn gets an upgrade on hers.
Yeah, we'll have to wait. We'll have to wait on that.
Because I tell you
Hers is getting
what,
a little long in the tooth too.
because I tell you what, this Windows PC that I use, every time Adobe upgrades their Lightroom or their Photoshop or their Premiere, it's as slow as a turtle.
Slow
You
as a
know,
turtle.
yep. Just to
Um,
come up with the
she's about due for an
graphic.
upgrade too, because yeah, her
Oh,
iMac is almost 8 years old,
oh wow, wow,
and I mean, she is used for photography, but she
yeah,
does quite a bit. But
yeah, yeah. I just my experience with Photoshop here is that every upgrade Photoshop has done, that Adobe has done, just slows down the computer even further.
yeah,
So it's kind of ridiculous. I'm really thinking of canceling my subscription, but then I don't know what else I could use. So,
they want you to buy the latest great, the
uh,
latest greatest thing, M1 or M2 chip. I was
yeah, I may decide to
listening to
do
a
that one of
podcast
these
today.
days.
They said something about an M3.
Wow, wow,
Go for it,
Maybe
Dan. Don't they have the
I
easy
don't.
pay?
they do right.
They
Gotta
have the
wait
easy
till
pay,
What's
right,
that?
Doug?
I. I gotta. I'm waiting for old Joe to stimulate me one more time.
That's not gonna happen.
No, I think they learned their lesson. I think they learned their lesson on that one. Unless you got some student loan, he can pay off.
Well, I have one or two from my wife, so I'm still hoping.
You're
You know.
still hoping, but you know, you can go out and buy some volts. He's going to need them. It's a
Yeah.
sad day when the Rio Grande Valley goes red.
Oh gosh. Alrighty. Well, I think this was a good episode for everybody. I mean, I think the big
Yeah.
thing is, you know, the 5G. Uh,
Yeah,
you know, I mean, obviously, cable is expensive. It's becoming slow, lots of problems. And, any alternative,
and
be it
expensive.
5G, Starlink, is worth pursuing. Obviously, for
So
those
if you
of
want
us in
to,
Brownsville, we'll
yeah.
have
So if you
fiber.
want to know more about the T-Mobile, if you want to know more about the T-Mobile, just go to T-Mobile Internet Gateway.
Okay. All right.
Just type that in your browser. That'll get you there, and then it'll give you a map, and it'll tell you if your area is if you're available, that
Okay.
ultra 5G is available. And of course,
Basically,
go
if
to
you're close
Apple.
to a 5G antenna. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the Apples, just go to the Apple website, iMac, and just look at
Yeah.
the comparison between the two iMacs.
Yeah, I think the only restriction right now on 5G is if you live within 2 miles of an airport, the carriers are not allowed to put antennas because of the
Yeah,
interference with the altimeters on the airplanes.
yeah.
So,
We've got a 5G tower right outside the gate here in Rancho.
oh, okay.
Well, you guys are rich.
So
That's why.
over there on that new road they punched through Los Fresnos.
Yeah,
Yeah.
803.
Yeah, is it 803? Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's a cell tower over there. So far so good.
Alrighty. All right, everybody.
Okay, guys.
Well, as you
I'll
know,
see you
this
later.
was our 28th episode. We had some pretty good information. Doug had a lot of information to share. As he mentioned, if you're interested in 5G, go over to that website for T-Mobile. If you're interested in a new computer, he's an expert on the Mac side. He just got himself a new 24-inch iMac M1 base processor. So any problems, refer him over to Doug. He's cheap. He accepts credit cards.
We'll see you probably September the 16th when the new iPhones come out.
That's right. We've got an Apple event coming up. So
Usually
Awesome.
a week after Labor Day.
yep.
Hey,
Alrighty.
Doug, he was posted on your speed. I'd be interested to find out a month from now if your speed is still at 75 or if it goes higher or lower.
Okay,
Please.
I'll let you know.
Yeah.
I'll let you know.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay, man.
Alrighty, everybody. Well,
Okay,
thank you
guys.
for watching.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you. Have
we'll
a good
be
night.
on next week. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye
Adios.
bye.
Let me cut the thing here.